Marvelites, assemble! We are here for another edition of your favorite Marvel go-to podcast talk shit thing place that you like to listen to while you take a shit. I know what you're doing. I know what we're all doing. Before I did this show, I had to take a shit. I don't know what to tell you. I sat down. I drank coffee at the office. I didn't drink coffee. I sat down, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get into it. Oh, wait, gotta take a shit. And instead of starting at fucking 8 o'clock, starting at 10. Why? Because I had to take a shit. That's how it goes. Shits are like that. Welcome, like I said, to another edition of Marvelites Assemble. I'm still sticking with season 1, even though we literally started season 1 2 years ago. I'm sorry. But we're still sticking with season 1, episode 4, rocking it like the Cashapp. I don't have anything planned. I don't have anything written down. I don't have any notes. I don't have nothing ready. I'm literally in my boxers right now, no shirt, maybe socks on, just hanging out here, and I just started talking to myself after seeing something on Threads, and I was like, I'm wasting this. Let me just do a show, and I might as well just blurt it out there and get it out there for people can listen and people can hear, and I don't let a day go to waste, because I went to the office today, and I was doing work at the office, and I wanted to try and actually, so I'm here and I'm feeling it. I know what, let me try and stream from the office for the first time, and I totally wasn't able to because my internet was down, and I go on a call, turns out we were paying over $200 for 20 megabits. I'm going to say that again. We were paying $222 for 20 megabits. 20. Fuck you, Comcast. 20 megabits and you don't call a motherfucker? That's where I'm like, I was telling my dad, I'm like, I think we should call and try and get our money back or something like that, because how are they gonna fucking just keep charging us $200 fully well knowing that we're only getting 20 megabits, bro? And the standard is literally 300. We were dealing with dial-up for these past 2 years, and they never said anything. So they were just taking our money. Yeah, it's great. And I always thought, oh, it's just it was always me, and I just couldn't figure out how to set up the internet, and I never had time to. But let me tell you something. I'm gonna hit up fucking Comcast tomorrow again. I'm gonna be like, look, you guys better send us something, bro. I don't know, a fucking gift basket. That fucking fruit biz gift basket that's all fruits and shit that made it look like a fucking flower. Send me some of that. I don't know, man, but send me something. Send me something, because that's fucked up, man. 20 megabits, bro? $222? You gonna pay for that shit? You'll go crazy. No wonder the only reason we didn't notice is because literally the stuff we send out is so small. It's it's minuscule. It just, it just looks like, oh, I guess it takes a long time, but whatever, it's the internet. I didn't know. Unbelievable, man. Rocking the headbagger. Hold on. Almost died there. 1 second, let me turn off the TV. Hold on. Apologies. I know we just started and I'm already having to take a quick break. It's just that I had to turn off the TV in the front living room because I look and the cats are in this room. And I usually leave their cat TV on, and that shit's super fucking loud with the birds, and just, you can hear, I'm sure you can hear it. Then I realized, oh, the door was wide open, so let me just close that and not get, murdered. So yeah, let's get things started so I can just get into the fucking talking and stuff. So we know what we gotta do. But we gotta do this every time, because I gotta survive. And I just want to let you guys know, literally they just raised my rent from $1,650 to $1,800. My car needs a new throttle body, so that's $1,000 part that I need to fucking buy. You know, I gotta take the cats to the vet. I gotta fucking just survive, and I'm still trying to fucking get this new book off the ground. So, really, honestly, when I say please, for the love of Stan Lee, support me in any way you can, I truly, truly mean it. And I truly appreciate anybody that sends anything. If you send $1, if you send $20, if you buy my book, if you buy my comic, if you just read my comic, if you just share the link to my comic or share the link to my book, oh my God, I appreciate that. If you just go by Octotaco and you read one of the articles, or you just share one of the articles, or you even check out one of the comics, like, I don't care, man, like that, I appreciate that. Check out my music, bro. Listen to the music, and if you just listen to a couple of my tracks and all that stuff, I really appreciate that, man. Maybe go on Streamlabs and buy something off of the Streamlabs site, man. That's really nice, the t-shirts or something. Or go to the TeePublic and buy one of my t-shirt designs. Anything that you guys do, man, I truly appreciate it. You have no idea how much I appreciate it, and you also have no idea how much I need it. I need it. I need it, guys, okay? I need it. Not because I'm like a lazy, greedy guy. I put a lot of work into my books, a lot of work into my writings, a lot of work into my creations, a lot of work into it. I want to get this film off the ground. I want to get this animation off the ground. But I can't sit down and do the animation. I can't sit down and do the film if I have no income. If I'm spending right now all my time just trying to figure out how I can fucking bring more money in, because what I'm getting paid at my job is just not enough. It's just not enough, and I can't leave that job because I've been in that job for like 20 fucking years, and it's literally the only thing that sustains me week to week. And I don't have any savings because that job never offered savings. So I'm a little fucked on that, you know? And the hope was that I did that job, and on the side, you know, someone would buy my book. But the job a lot of times takes over, and you know, and it takes over it takes up the whole year sometimes. And that's the fight that I had with my father many times, is that, you know, the deal was I work half of the year, and so I can focus the other half on the studio and stuff and get that off the ground. But then, like, you know, they don't want that. They want to interrupt. They want me to be a fucking tax preparer, and it's like, get the fuck out of here. And it's not that they want me to be a tax preparer. It's that they know being a tax preparer is like, oh, this is an actual job because we get paid, blah blah blah. And you know how people from how boomers are. All boomers, as soon as they find like a job that's like, that's it. No matter if it's the worst job in the world, as long as it gives you a paycheck, they're like, yeah, devote your life to that. You know, make the fucking worst thing that you hate getting up in the morning for, like, make that your fucking career. It gives you a paycheck. And, like, if you let them, man, they will suck you into that fucking dark hole of death and nothingness, bro. So, like, it's just, I look at younger generations and I'm like, do what makes you fucking happy, bro. Do what you want to do in living color, bro. Do the fucking you want to be an actor? Be an actor. You want to be an artist? Be an artist. You want to be a musician? Be a musician. Do all that shit. I don't give a fuck, man. You know what? Put all your energy into that. I don't care, man. Sometimes I wish I had a kid, because I would be like, you want to be in gymnastics? We'll put you in gymnastics. Oh, you want to get into gymnastics? I don't care. Whatever you want to fucking do, we'll do it. I don't care, man. You want to stay in karate? We stay in karate. But for me, it wasn't like that. For me, it was like, oh, let's put him in gymnastics. It will be good. And then they take me out as soon as I start to learn backflips because they get scared. And then it's like, oh, let's put him in karate because he needs to learn self-defense. He's going to go into middle school now. Oh, okay. I get into self-defense. I get into karate, into Kempo, and I start really doing really good. They want to move me up 2 belts. And they're like, oh, no, what? We're going to take him out of Kempo now because, you know, it's just, they want him, you know, it's too fast for him. They're just trying to move him up too fast, and we don't like that. I don't know. They took me out of fucking Kempo. I fucking get into band. And, like, the only reason why I was even allowed to continue in band was because my sister was in band. And I got into band because my older sister was already in band. And I kind of knew a lot of the people in band. And I liked it. And it looked like a lot of fun. And I also, in my school, unlike, I'm sure, many other schools, like, the band in my middle school was, like, the popular kids. So, like, if you were in band, you were, like, the popular kids. It wasn't how normally the band nerds are, like, looked down on. No, in my school, like, if you were in band, you were, like, the upper echelon of like, you know, the society, a social society in middle school, I guess, whatever the fuck. So all the popular kids, we were all friends. It was like 40 of us, and we were all friends. We would all go to each other's, all the girls were having like a 15s every fucking week. A different girl had a 15s, and so we were at the parties every week. We were dancing. We were like practicing to do the dancing for the 15s. So every week we were at someone's different house. So it was just like this really great time and really great experience. But like nobody in the band was considered like a nerd or like an outcast or something like that. Like if you got in band because you wanted to be one of the popular kids, and like, I didn't realize that until I got in, and I was like, oh, wait, this is like, you know, everybody who's cool is in this shit. You know, because I'm like, oh, you're here? And I'm like, oh, no, you're here. What are you doing here, bro? Like, you're a fucking gangster, bro. And it's like the gangsterist people were there playing trumpet. We're all trumpet playing. we were all like my friend Alex, he was like, bro, delinquent number one. Derek, delinquent number two. Fucking Robert was like the really nice guy who, you know what, you could just convince him to do anything because fuck it, why not? And then there's me, who's like the delinquent, but like the guy who looks like a fucking nerd. Like I was the one that looked like a bad nerd because I had glasses, I had long hair. I was like the fucking like, you know, into anime. I was into fucking like, you know, comics and shit. And so I was like the real nerd, but it was all covered up by the other people. While at the same time, like I don't want to say I did a good job at like wearing the facade because we all wore a facade back there. We all do. But I did a really good job. I felt like crossing enemy lines, if that makes any sense. Like I was one of those people that I could be like friends with all the different cliques. Like back in the day, it wasn't. I don't know how. I want to say it's gotten better because you look at music and you see how different. There's so many different types of genres of music, and yes, there were different types of genres of music growing up, but it was always just relegated to three worlds. You know, your rock, your hip hop, and everything else. And so like if you were in the rock group, you were like with the kind of you were like with a completely different type of person, kid, compared to the hip hop people. Hip hop people were just like, you know, a lot of times in my school they were considered like, you know, the delinquents and all that stuff, people who were gangsters and whatnot. So there was like this real kind of like North Korea style, South Korea style kind of like zone that you had to kind of cross and hope not to get shot, like literally, if you wanted just to like chill with people and stuff. And I just had that knack to be able to kind of like cross that line and be able to be friends with this person and be friends with the rocker, or be friends with that, and that ultimately like really helped at me getting through middle school. Unlike you know, like that would, especially the early days of middle school, like seventh and eighth grade, that shit was the fucking Wild West, man. Like I saw motherfuckers get dealt with, bro, and it was crazy. And it was a beautiful thing that finally, when we got into ninth grade, in my school, it was seventh, eighth, and ninth. Most schools are middle school are sixth, seventh, and eighth, and high school beginning in ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. In my school, it was elementary went up to sixth grade, and middle school was seventh through ninth grade. So we never and then high school was 10th, 11th, and 12th. So when you went to high school, you were like totally just like, you know, like you were in 10th grade. It was weird because you were in 10th grade and you were the freshmen, but without being freshmen. And then in ninth grade, you were like the seniors, but you were still a freshman. And so there was this weird kind of thing where you were never like, when you went to Hialeah High, it was so fun, messed up, because when I was in ninth grade, that's when they were experimenting by sending ninth graders to the high school. And those kids got dealt with, bro. Never seen from or heard of again. I mean, I don't know what happened to them, man. We all felt bad for them. But yeah, so like, there is just this, it was a strange, it was strange how like the band wasn't the nerd culture from where I was coming from. Instead, it was just like everybody who was cool was in bands. So it was really weird, and I was lucky, man. I was lucky that I was able to kind of just meet these great people and stuff. And you know, going back to how this started with my fucking parents pulling me out, basically that's like the only reason why I was able to stay in band, is because they saw that band like opened up doors for everybody and opened up like social doors. And so yeah, it's I can't believe, see, it's crazy how like sometimes I'll start and I'm literally just starting out this fucking show with here are the ads and the QR codes and stuff like that, and then they just start going on this total rant because I'm literally trying to explain to you people that I'm like, yo, I'm normal, I'm not a bot, I'm real. I just like to talk about Marvel, and before we can talk about Marvel, we gotta do the ad space, man, because I gotta survive, man, and right now it's all about survival. So yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. I apologize. Let's get through this. Let's just get through this real quick, as fast as possibly can. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Hit up the PayPal. Hit up the Cash App. If you want, buy my book, Full Moon Nights, available on Amazon as a softcover or available on Barnes & Noble as the hardcover. Check out my comic shop, octotaku.com. Check out my TeePublic shop. Check out my Spotify playlist and my YouTube playlist, El Topo, with all my tracks dating back to 1999. And my last album from 2023, The Reflection Blinds You from Seeing the Truth. You can see the cover right there in front of you. Check out my Streamlabs, where you can buy some shirt, a t-shirt, and you look really cool and all that kind of stuff. You see? Boom, done. That's how I gotta do it. You know, but then I start to feel bad about, you know, asking you people for support. And, oh my God, I'm gonna die. You know how it is. But you see, it's done. And yeah, we took off the Band-Aid. We had the Band-Aid on for 3 weeks, and now we ripped it off with a little bit of hair and a little bit of scab. What are you gonna do? I don't know. So why the fuck did I want to stream tonight? What was it again? Does anybody know? I don't remember. I'm kidding, I remember. So like, I saw Ryan Reynolds, he posts like the Jennifer Garner tribute. And how like that video of you see Jennifer Garner like training for Elektra. And that was amazing. I was like, wow, you know, you see her starting off and she's dropping the sigh and oh my God, stabbing herself and shit. And then at the end, she's like flipping it in the costume, looking all badass and stuff. And it's amazing. It's great. Love it. And it got me thinking. It got me thinking about how it's funny that like what he has done to those films. And it's funny how far we've come from when those films came out up until now. And how those films, man, like they were absolutely trashed by everybody. Everybody trashed those films. I don't want to hear people saying, oh no, I always loved them. I love this. I love that. I don't want to hear that, bro. Because you did it. That's bullshit. That's a total lie. It's a total and complete lie that you liked the fucking films. It's a total and complete lie that you were fans of those films. It's a total complete lie that you backed those films and you always wanted, you know, fucking Ben Affleck as Daredevil and you wanted fucking, you know, Jennifer Garner as fucking Elektra. That's a lie. You're lying. You're just lying. And I understand why you're lying. You're beholden to the moment. I mean, what we experienced right now with fucking Deadpool Wolverine is amazing. It was amazing. We experienced amazingness. I, myself, am still in shock. I admit to you here today that I you know, not even here, I admit to you today because I'm sure I've said it in previous fucking podcasts, either on He Cultura or on a previous Marvelite Assemble, that like, yo, man, I can't stand Ryan Reynolds. Like, for a long time, I hated Ryan Reynolds. I hated him so much. Oh my God, I couldn't stand him. And a lot of it was because of Wolverine's origins. Like, the fucking show that they did with that character in that movie affected me so much as a fan that I'm like, dude, I don't want this guy anywhere near this shit. And then, like... you would see how Hugh Jackman just, you know, got bigger. And, you know, Ryan Reynolds was doing fine, I guess. I don't know. But in my eyes, you know, he had his space, whatever. But you could always tell that he was very, like, adamant. Like, he really wanted to do Deadpool. I mean, I couldn't give you an example because it was so long ago. But I do remember. I can see it in my head. The reaction that I would have whenever, like, he would comment on something about like about Hugh Jackman, you know, doing another Wolverine or whatever, and like there was always like this like hint of like, oh, Deadpool's gonna, you know, have his own thing or something. We should do that. I don't know. And I always was like, man, we gotta get that shit away from that guy. And I never understood why the fuck the Fox just let him have the fucking rights to it and just let him do whatever the fuck he wanted with it. And really, it's because, you know, they didn't care. They didn't know the character. They had no idea what the like, man. Deadpool alone would have saved Fox. Like, if they would have made a Deadpool Wolverine movie back before Fox sold to Marvel, we would not be taught. We would not have. Number one, you probably wouldn't. I don't think you would get this kind of film. I think you would get something else completely different. Something that people would, it would split audiences. Something similar to what like DC was doing, where it's like it would constantly split audiences. It wasn't like a universal agreement. Like this is universally fucking agreed upon because, you know, Marvel had a hand on it. You saw the fucking logo come up. It wasn't the fucking in association with. It was the logo. So it is a big deal. It's a big difference when Marvel does it and when someone else does it. That's a fact. There's no going about it. All of these X-Men films that you are enjoying now, that you're going back and you're like, oh wow, these aren't that bad. Let me tell you, motherfucker, bro, I watch those X-Men films at least once a week. At some point during the week, I'm watching either X-Men 2, I'm watching X-Men 1. I started binging Fantastic Four, the first one and the Rise of Silver Surfer, like crazy, like at least once a day, ever since the Fantastic Four trailer dropped. Ever since Deadpool, you know, got into the hands of these people, I started watching the Deadpool movies. And these movies that I hated. I fucking hated these movies. I was like, fuck, I don't want to see these movies. Fuck, I hate these movies. These movies cannot exist. Because at that time, if these movies existed, then that means these characters were not part of Marvel yet. Marvel did not have the film rights to these characters. And at that time, my goal as a Marvelite, and every Marvelite's goal at that time, if you're a true Marvelite listening to this shit, you know what's up, what was going down at that time. At that time, we were not supporting anything that Fox was putting out there. Because we wanted X-Men back in the hands of fucking Marvel. We realized, oh, if Marvel gets back X-Men, they will give us X-Men. Rather than Foxmen. 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 Like, there's no arguing with this. This isn't like me being, oh, no, that's just you. No. This was universal. A universal agreement was that all of those X-Men films were shit. All of them. You know, even the Deadpool movies, sure, they were well received. They were well received at that point, man. It's just so weird. Because how much of the success of some of these films, I don't mean all of them, some of them, that we know that are kind of lesser than the others. Something like, I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Let's fuck it. Let's compare like fucking Deadpool 1 to something really big. You know what? I won't even give you the big guns. I'm just going to say, let's say Age of Ultron. Like compare those two, and you're not going to bring Deadpool to that table at that time. You're not. As much as you want to like be happy for that shit, like bro, that only went off because number one, we saw that trailer. We saw that fake trailer that was released, that Ryan Reynolds leaked. That he admitted it. Go check the if you haven't seen it, the I think it's Vanity Fair that did it. Or Variety, either Vanity Fair or Variety. Whoever had someone with a V. I'm pretty sure it was Vanity Fair, but they did a lie detector test of Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, and I highly recommend you watch that because that's actually really good. And in one of them, Hugh Jackman asks him if he was the leak, and you know he beats around the bush. I don't know, next question kind of thing. And then it's like the lie detector guy, which is like, you know, the guy who does the thing. He's like, answer the question, and he's like, oh shit. And then they're like, you know, I might have something to do with it. So yes, he fucking uploaded that shit. But you know, we all knew this. We all already knew this. This was all, like, we knew. But now we're, you know, okay. And that's why I was like, man, at that time, I look back and how much I was like, man, I really don't want this guy doing this. Because ultimately, he's going to make it his ride. And, like, if it hits in any kind of way, people are just going to run with it. And, you know, bless his heart, like, he kind of understood better. He understood the power of the character and the power and its relationship to fans and the comics and everybody better than Fox ever fucking did for any of the X-Men fucking films, for Christ's sake. And I have to give it up to him. I have to give it up to him. Because he showed the patience that he showed just sticking with that character. He could have been like, fuck Deadpool. I don't want to have anything to do with that shit anymore because that's just stupid. He could have been like that. But he did it. He saw that, look, this is something that I need to fucking keep pursuing because there's something here. And it's annoying. It sucks. But he was right. The Fox executives that fucking gave him the fucking shit and were like, we don't give a fuck what you do with it. They were wrong because they don't exist anymore. They all got either fired or folded into fucking Disney. Ryan Reynolds remained, and he still, they said, oh, don't worry, we're going to give you a 3 to just kind of like close up the fucking trilogy and let you do whatever the fuck you want with it. And that's just wild, man. That whole turn, that whole ride that he's gone from Origins, where he was literally the fuck, like everyone hated him. And I'm like, I'm sorry that I being part of that group of people that hated him, because like I look back and it's like, well, I hated him. A lot of it was because of the way they portrayed the character, what they did with the character, his writing, his lines, his stuff was just a little, I don't know, it didn't fucking hit for me at that time. It seemed all just unnecessary. And at the same time, like, I had a completely different perspective and perception and an expectation. That's another thing. I had me and every fucking Marvelite in that goddamn fucking theater had a completely different expectation for what Wolverine's Origins was going to be. We all thought that shit was going to be good. How could it not be? If you just pick up the first Wolverine miniseries, the fucking first 5 comics of, anything from that shit is a banger. So, like, how could they mess it up? And, they ultimately, like, it was a lot of things, because it was just this, the first and foremost, the complete disrespect to, like, how the character for such a long time was this lone mystery wolf character. And the way that they literally gave us that for just like 2 fucking minutes in X-Men 1. And then the other thing that really fucked up shit was that at that time, they just, Wolverine got so popular that they ultimately did the Wolverine Origins fucking comic. And gave up how he got the fucking bone claws and the whole shit. And to me, I think that was like one of the worst things that they did, was go to the bone claws so early. Like, I wouldn't even be going to the bone. I would have never gone to the bone claws ever. Ever. In the history of this guy, of any of his films, I would have never shown the bone claws. Never. Never. What for? What for? Like, Wolverine's Origins should have literally never shown his origin. Like, it should have never shown he was a kid with the thing in the bone claws and going through all the years. It should have never shown that. Like, when we all met Wolverine, we did not know anything about him. And they realized, you know what? That is the character. That you don't know shit about him. He doesn't even know anything about him. And that was just such a fucking awesome feeling, to never know, like, the background of this fucking character. And I gotta say, man, when they did Origins, the comic, it was like, yeah, that's nice to finally know, but you kind of killed the mystery. It's very much like how Joker is like, you never know you kind of knew where he came from, but you kind of didn't, So it was just like, man, that was just that contributed to a bunch of things where. And that was another factor. It just felt too fast, that you were just jumping to this modern age. And that's something that MCU has been, I know we talked about this, I think, in the previous Marvelites Assemble, where it was like MCU jumped too far into the modern age. And I kind of like, I didn't like that. I didn't like how, like, we're doing stories from the modern age. And it's like, and I don't mean the modern age like post 90 kind of shit. Like, no. I mean like post millennium. That's why I don't like calling them like books. The current age that we are not in the modern age anymore. We are in the millennium age, and we've been in the millennium age since about 2016, officially. 2012 is when it started to turn, And 2016 is when it officially became the Millennium Age. And honestly, man, like, I just I didn't like how they were dipping into that. But then it's like, you can't say shit because they did. My fear really started coming out when they announced Civil War. I was like, oh, that sounds awesome, but I'm just shocked that they're doing Civil War. You know, like, Infinity War made sense because it still was like, it felt like an old comic, even though it was fairly new. It was a modern age comic. It still felt like, you know, this is not new. This is an old story that works perfectly, and it builds up to it perfectly. But then Civil War, which is like, I was like so confused. How are they gonna make that work? And ultimately they did. They made it work, and it worked out perfect. And look how it came out. It came out fucking great, man. Which is like a big thing that people have to fucking understand with Marvel, is that Marvel, it does, you know, they have this humongous vault of things to choose from, and they are well versed in writing, art direction, directing, all that kind of shit. Everything that you need to make a fucking goddamn movie, they actually are really good at, because they have spent decades making comics, which are just movies that don't move. That's all it is. It's movies and TV shows in the form of a comic. And it's just so funny that now a lot of movies and TV shows are pulling from comics. Before, it used to be like, I mean, they're still using books. And, you know, most movies are based on some book. But now you're having a lot more than ever movies and shows being based on comics. And this is, again, goes back to our conversation we had last week, I believe, that it was, you know, the way that comics have just completely exploded in the last couple of years. That's why it's like, to me, no, we're in a new age of comics, because there's new fans, it's a new era, there's new technology, there's new conflict in the world. There's certain things, again, I talked about this before, where I was like, I have to go back and to get you the map and set this up and do a whole show on it and stuff, where it's like, we talk about how we've moved into a new age of comics. And basically, because like you can pinpoint, like, the first golden age of comic was during like the World War II. The Bronze Age of comics was during the Silver Age of comics was during like Vietnam era, you know, and then the Bronze Age of comics was the Cold War era, and then now the modern age comics is the Middle East conflicts, and like this new era. And that's why I say that, no, now we're in a new age of comics, because of the war in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine has created like another European kind of conflict, and that has dragged the United States into it, because we have to supply people. So boom, we're in this conflict now already. So that's where I'm like, oh, new age of comics. It's not the main reason, but it's a reason. It's a marker of like, okay, with this marker, that's how you can tell. Another marker of how we know we reached a new age of comics: new characters, new titles, rebirths of titles. When they remake characters, when they remake the modern age died with the death of Spider-Man. When Spider-Man was killed off, that's when he pretty much the modern age died with that. And Amazing Spider-Man 1, 2012. Wait, I'm sorry, 2012. I believe that's Amazing Spider-Man issue 1, 2012, 2013. Yeah, here we go. The Amazing Spider-Man #1 that came out in 2014. That to me was the first comic of the Millennium Era. That was the first fucking comic of the Millennium Era that came out and was like, boom, this is like the new era of comics. Was the rebirth of Spider-Man. At that time, also, like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was going off, so you had the show going. You had Marvel kind of getting into the next phase 2, which is another marker now Before, no, because before, like, we didn't have the MCU, but now we do have the MCU, so we could use that. And regular comics depend now on the MCU. So now we could use the MCU as markers to determine whether we've shifted into another phase, into another era of comics. So when Avengers first came out, the first Avengers in 2012, that was to me the beginning of the end. The death of Spider-Man came in the old Death of Spider-Man. What year is this? See, this was Earth 1610. I think this was like the start. This was 2011. 2011. So that makes a lot of sense. It's like that is the start of the end of the Millennium Age, and then the Millennium Age ultimately ended with Avengers, the Avengers movie, and that becoming like this humongous fucking thing that, the first $1 billion fucking movie, whatever, and all this shit, and it blew the fuck up, and basically that kind of started the whole next era of comics, because after 2012, I guarantee you, more so after, I thought Iron Man, when Iron Man first came out, I wanted to say that was when the new age of comics started, the Millennium Age of comics, and I was like, no, because that to me was a marker of the end of the modern age. And that's when the modern age started to end, ultimately coming to an end with the death of Spider-Man and the birth of the MCU. Because this current era of MCU didn't really begin until Age of Ultron, because that's when Disney bought Marvel. Disney bought Marvel in 2009. Okay, so they bought Marvel in 2009. 2012 they came out with are you sure it was 2000? I gotta be careful because this is AI shit, and you can't trust the AI shit anymore. So I want to make sure. Yeah, right, it's 2009. Perfect. Okay, so 2009, 2010, really, because it was December 31st. So in 2010, really, is when they owned it from then on, the beginning. So the Avengers movie comes out 2012. Boom, that ends. So this was also just like, this was the beginning of the end. This was like them shifting into the new age. And then, because I want to say, the Avengers was still not like fully. It was weird, man. That was the first one, so it doesn't feel, because the Avengers, when you watch the Avengers, man, that still feels different. The end of that movie feels different than the end of every other fucking movie, because at the end of that movie they had like Soundgarden singing, so it still felt like, oh, I don't know, it still felt like a movie from like the 90s. It was just like a really great action movie, and it was really great. Everything else in the beginning was Marvel, but at the end it just started to feel like, oh, this was just like your usual kind of tropey stuff, But then they flipped all that shit with the next phase, with like all the new trailers and all the new with Iron Man 3 and all that kind of shit, and then everything was from then on had just been elevated, and amazing. So that is what happens with the end of comics, and that's it. That's the end of the world and the universe, and we're over. Go to link por lado. Este cuento está terminado. I don't know, man. I ramble, bro. I don't know what to fucking tell you, bro. But I ramble, and there's nobody here to rein me in. That's the other problem. Usually there's people to rein others. Hey, can you stop talking and get back on track? And I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm also seeing like a bunch of people peeking in. They're wondering what the fuck, And I'm not talking about Ryan Reynolds. Did Ryan Reynolds ruin the shit? No, of course not. I literally just wrote that just so I can get people in here. What do you think? He didn't ruin it. He made it better, obviously. Right? Now, when I decided to title this episode that, it was going back to the whole Jennifer Garner thing. And how seeing Jennifer Garner train seeing Jennifer Garner, like, you know, start off stabbing herself, like she totally forgot how to do the size, and at the end, like being a master and shit. Like I felt it. You know, I felt it. And I felt bad because I fucking hate that Daredevil movie. And I don't like her as Elektra. I like the other chick as Elektra. I like the actress that plays Elektra in Daredevil. No, that's Elektra. That's our Elektra. This person that they're bringing to us is not Elektra. This person is an imposter. This person is a Fox version of Elektra. That's why I look at, like, you know, I don't like any of the Fox people, because at that time I understood as a Marvelite, like every fucking Marvelite should at that time, that there was Marvel and everything else. And everything else could wait. Everything else I could watch on streaming. Everything else I'd wait on DVD. Everything else I'd catch it when it's like on cable. I don't give a shit. Marvel? Nah. I'm at the theater Marvel. I'm on opening day Marvel. I'm at the first fucking showing in the goddamn morning because I don't want to watch the last showing after they showed that shit a bunch of fucking times and it already starts to have scratches. No, I want the first fucking showing. The cleanest fucking showing. Brand new. That's how I want to see the movie. And you know that there was a difference between what Fox was doing, what Sony does, and when Marvel actually does it. You know that there's a difference. You know it. You know that there's a fucking difference. And it's crazy sometimes to see how, like, there's still people that don't know that there's a difference. They just, you know, and bless their hearts, you know, because I know they mean well and they're just excited. A lot of these people are just excited to see these characters come together, and they just want to, their brains lack that kind of wall, that invisible wall that lets you separate. Okay, no, this is not the same as this. Like, this is not, like, you just want to look at all as one thing because it's like really, it's easier for you to understand and comprehend because you're more than likely someone who just doesn't want to, like, do critical thinking. I don't know, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. I'm just trying to understand. Why is it that you people don't get or never understood that Fox doing Marvel movies is not the same as Marvel doing Marvel movies? Like, you can't get that. Like, you can't understand how Sony making Marvel movies hurts Marvel. And your support of Sony Spider-Man continues to hurt Marvel. And how you can't see that, like, you are the real issue because you can't keep yourself from going out to watching this fake version of Spider-Man rather than a real version. And now Tom Holland, like, he is only the real version because Marvel has included him in their fucking films because they have this agreement where Marvel gets to have creative control over the character. And I don't even think they have they used to have full creative control. I don't think they have full creative control anymore. I think now it's like, no, now Sony has wanted more of the control back. You know, and that's why you might not see another fucking Spider-Man movie for a long time. Because I want to hope and pray that Tom Holland understands that, hey, it's a lot better when Marvel is involved than when Sony isn't. Is just the one when Sony's doing the shit on their own. When Sony is doing the films on their own, the Marvel films on their own, you get fucking bullshit like Venom. Where, like, you all want to go and support this film because you like Tom Hardy. And you like Venom, the character, I guess. Because the reality is I don't really know many people who fucking like Venom, the character, and are like, oh, Venom is my favorite character. Like, I don't know what he is. Huh? Venom is just a cool-looking character. That's it. That's all he is. He's just cool-looking. He's like, oh, wow, evil version of Spider-Man. That's cool. But there's no real attraction to, like, Venom, like, there's come on. No. I mean, if you're going to come out and you're going to fucking write a great Venom story, which I'm sure has been done, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, it's a good Venom story. But let's, like, come on, to step back and see the forest for the trees for a little bit. And look at the greater MCU and see, like, yeah, you know, you're not gonna run to Venom first. You know, a lot of like the Venom popularity is not because of, honestly. Look, before I even say this, yes, the writers are important, and oftentimes they are the most important thing about a story, for sure. But we're talking about comics, baby, and in comics, the writers are important, but the artist is what makes me look at the cover and be like, what's this? If the covers were blank, if all the covers were blank and we went off of the titles, or you couldn't go off the titles, you'd have to read the fucking story there. I mean, are we all gonna do that? No. We don't got time to just go into a fucking store and read the whole book before we decide to fucking buy it. And we're not gonna go in there anymore and buy it blindly because much shit costs a lot of money. You need that cover to be like, grabby. Wait, I'm sorry, I gotta take a hit. But we're going all over the fucking place. All over. Starting from Jennifer Garner to fucking comic covers. But it's all tied together. It's all tied together, man. It's all tied together in that, like, how Ryan Reynolds took this shit, was working for Fox, making kind of like their own version of fucking Marvel in the hopes that at some point Marvel would be like, hey, let's team up. And ultimately they kind of sort of teamed up, then that Marvel just bought their asses. Thank God. But questions still loom and remain. As you can see in the title. Did Ryan Reynolds help the MCU or did he hurt it? Because you went in there with the assumption that, they're going to fold Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman into the MCU. And they're going to somehow... But that's not what happened in the story. In the story, that's not what happens. They don't get folded. He saves his timeline. In fact, the timeline keeps going. What does that mean? There's something interesting also in that timeline, in that, like, Captain America doesn't exist in that timeline. Did you notice that? Wolverine asks, who the hell is that guy? And Deadpool explains to him that that's Captain America. He doesn't outright say it's Captain America, but he says, like, he explains to him, like, all these things of what Captain America is. And he's like, oh my God, it's Captain America. It's Chris, it's that guy. And he's fucking Fantastic Four guy. And, but then later on in the movie, Wolverine says, fuck the Avengers. In a way to indicate that the Avengers exist in his world. So, but, you know what? Never mind, scratch that. I always forget, my bad. I'm so confused here, that's right. See, the whole fucking multiverse shit is confusing. Scratch all that. Because that's not the same Wolverine, that's a Wolverine from a different world. So in that Wolverine's world, the Avengers exist, but Captain America doesn't exist. So does Iron Man exist in his world? Who is fucking doing the Avengers? Hank Pym? Thought that was weird. And then what happens? Okay, well, there's no Chris Evans in that world. Like, what are they gonna do? Make another Deadpool 4, and then do what? Show more fucking Fox characters? You want fucking Jennifer Garner back all of a sudden? You fucking didn't give three shits about her, like, in the past, like, 20 fucking years. You didn't even fucking know she was gonna be in this movie. And you're out here like, oh my God, bring her back and give her a whole fucking give her three fucking movies. Are you fucking kidding me? You want fucking Wesley Snipes, 70 fucking years old, doing Blade backflips and shit? You're gonna support that? I mean, I like Wesley Snipes, man, but you know, está viejo ya. What are we talking about here? Like, in the whole Channing Tatum thing, like, that's a joke. You know that, right? Like, that's not serious. That's a joke. Like, that's literally the joke in the movie, was that he, like, really wanted to be Gambit, and they looked at him and were like, no, bro, that ain't gonna happen. And you're like, watch that shit, and you're trying to convince yourself, yeah, it could happen. You see, he's doing it. He's doing it. But you're like, yo, that's the joke, though. The joke is that he looks kind of ridiculous as Gambit, and, like, you can't understand him. It's like he's got a... His accent is just so over the top that you don't understand him. And that's the joke. They aren't serious in that he should be fucking Gambit. I mean, they're serious now as actors because they saw the movie made nearly a fucking $1 billion. And by the end of this week, it's going to make $1 billion. And they're like, oh, man, I want my friend Channing Tatum to have more fucking movies. And it's like, I don't fucking want Channing Tatum as fucking Gambit from here on out. Like, I think we could do better than Gambit. I think they should have brought back the actual guy who played Gambit in Wolverine's Origins. That guy was good. That guy looked like Gambit. Like, Channing Tatum literally looks like a frat boy at a cosplay contest, bro. That's what he looked like, and that's why it's funny, and that's why it was like, oh, this is cute. It's not serious, but it's cute. Man, all those people died. That shit's gone. All those people died in the void. But you're gonna bring it back? You want Electro to show up in fucking Born Again? Ain't gonna happen. Sorry, I have to get water. 1 second. Oh, I was dying. Sorry. Ranted too long without water. Drink your water. So yeah. What are we gonna do now? Because I'm like, cool, that was pretty. Can we move on now? Can we get back to normality? Can we get back to, you know, what we first started with? Can we finish what we started? And then they bring back Doom. I mean, they bring back Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. What the fuck? I mean, we know that we just have to write it. We just have to write it, see where it goes, see where it takes us. Look back. Look to Avengers. Look to then Age of Ultron. Look to how that ultimately led to Infinity War and Endgame. There is an end to this. And I'm excited to know that they're going to figure it out. I'm totally excited for the Russo brothers because that, you know, part of me still is like, it's not fair. They should have, like, let the Loki guy the people who did Loki, they should have let them finish this. But bringing the Russos back was like, you could tell that was they were scared. You know, they want a sure bet. They pulled the fucking Democratic Party Kamala Harris. They want a sure win. They don't want to risk it. So like, I worry that what we've changed is the dynamic and the beauty in that, like, MCU surprises you with something new. And I know they're going to surprise us. I know they're not going to let us down. And we shouldn't be worried. We shouldn't fucking be scared. We shouldn't feel like oh, this might not work out. No. Marvel's going to give us something. And we're going to love it. I guess my big thing is that I liked the Multiverse Saga. I like Quantumania. I like the Thor: Love and Thunder. I like Eternals. I like all of these films that have come out in this saga. I like them all. I like where we're going with all the variants and the multiverse thing, and I like that. Especially now with Deadpool, it works. But I fear that because you're scared and you don't want to fail and all this shit and blah blah money and stock and fucking, people who don't even fucking watch the movies, because you're listening to them, you're ultimately gonna give us something that has nothing to do with everything else that we've watched. Or you're just gonna come in and you're gonna have them just kind of like, oh, we're gonna just kill Kang in the beginning, that's it, it's over, done. No more Kang Wars, right? And I'm like, we could do better than that, man. We don't gotta feel that we have to be perfect all the time. Like, that's what's poisoning us more than ever. Is this idea that we have to be perfect. Like, I would rather you just give us something. Just give us something that's like, I don't want to say good, because I'm like, of course you're going to give us something good. I don't want to say entertaining, because of course you're going to give us something entertaining. I guess I want something that evolves. I want something that changes over time. I don't want something that just reverts back to, let's make a remake of Star Wars Death Star and call it something else. Make it bigger. I don't want that. I'm going to have to cut soon because my voice is going. For sure. So, we're going to have to come back. We're going to come back about this tomorrow. Because right now, I can't keep going, man. My voice is almost gone. I don't know what happened. But we're going to continue this talk. Because this is something to think about. Think about it. You see how rabid people fucking get? How they become now they're the biggest fucking Deadpool fans of all time? Oh my god, now Jennifer Garner, we gotta give her 3 fucking movies. Oh my god, we gotta bring back Wesley Snipes, give him 3 movies. We gotta bring back Tobey Maguire, give him 3 fucking movies. Get the fuck out of here. Those people came and went. We want to move forward. But we're not moving forward because we still have to clean this shit up. We have to still clean up the shit that Fox did. We're gonna still have to clean up the shit that fucking Sony did with this whole bullshit Sinister Six fucking crap. We're gonna have to clean that up at some point. That's more work for us. That's more work. That's doble trabajo. I don't want that shit. That's where and that's why I asked, did Ryan Reynolds mess this up? Or did he help us, ultimately? And I'm like, yeah, no, of course he totally helped us, because he brought Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, we got the face, whatever. But what, you weren't going to get that fucking face? You weren't going to get that Wolverine when, later on, with someone else? You weren't going to get that? Do you really sit there, and do you really think that you weren't going to get that, whatever we saw with Deadpool, you weren't going to get that with whoever plays Wolverine? They fucking cast Henry Cavill as Wolverine. You fucking love that shit. They would have done that shit. Now, when they recast out Wolverine, you're not gonna have Henry Cavill do it. But when they do recast Wolverine as whoever, You're gonna have a bunch of fucking people saying it should be Hugh Jackman. A bunch of fucking people saying it should have been fucking Henry Cavill. And then right there and then you already have 3 factions of fucking people that you have split the fan base into, and they're all fighting. This is what DC does. And a lot of times, I don't know, this is not what Star Wars does, because Star Wars is completely different. Star Wars is a whole other problem. And Star Wars straight up is a fucking white supremacy racial fucking problem. That's just what's happening in Star Wars is basically people not understanding that Star Trek is political. That's literally it. People still don't get that Star Trek was a political fucking show. Star Trek, was like talking about shit. And because you don't understand that, you don't get Star Wars. That's it. Watch Star Trek, and then you'll understand Star Wars. I don't know, man. I'm happy for all this shit. We're all happy for it. We all are excited for the future of it, of course. But I think we're all. I think even though I do like the saga, at this point, I'm eager for it to come to a close, just because I feel it's creating more problems. It's creating more headaches. It's creating more variants. It's creating more fucking timelines. It's creating more fucking things. And so now you're gonna have a faction of executives be saying, hey, how come we don't have like 3 different? Why don't we give Hugh Jackman 4 more fucking Wolverine movies, and then we cast another Wolverine, and then we make this Wolverine like this version Wolverine, and then this version Wolverine, this version Wolverine. How about that? And you know what? We bring in Henry Cavill. Why don't we give Henry Cavill? Why don't we give fucking Hugh Jackman? And why don't we give the new guy each of them 3 fucking Wolverine movies, and then at the end we fucking make an ultimate Wolverine movie where all 3 Wolverines get together and they fucking save fucking Zendaya. You don't think that's coming? You know the fucking internet. You know how stupid people are. It's already happening. And so ultimately, what was the point of this movie? If you weren't gonna fucking bring them into the MCU. What's the point? Why couldn't you end that movie with Deadpool and Wolverine, I guess, saving the fucking timeline or something, or I don't know, man, causing an incursion where their timeline merges with our timeline? I don't know. You could have done anything. You could have fucking made zombie Princess Diana come back and fucking say, yeah, it's all good, don't worry about it. And we would have been like, oh shit, zombie Princess Diana. But now it's like you have created an opportunity for the fan base to eat itself alive. Is it worth it? For this one film? I don't think that's what's going to happen. I mean, I trust Marvel enough, and I trust Marvelites all over enough that we're mature and we know the drill. There's enough of us that know the drill. There's enough of us that know what needs to be done. We get the assignment. We understand the assignment. We're going to go out there and we're going to execute. We're just going to follow. We get it. But then there's some people that are just like, and it's like, the unfortunate thing is that they're the mass majority, and it's like the average viewer, who is somebody that isn't a hardcore Marvel fan, but they just like to watch action movies, and they like to watch whatever everyone else is watching. And what's oftentimes really frustrating is that those people are usually the ones who are complaining the most and the loudest about shit. The ones that care the least. And then their voice gets heard over the fucking Marvelite that is like, look, we just want the MCU, and we want to stick with the MCU. We want the MCU to go forward, and we want the MCU to fucking just keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. We don't care about Fox actors. I love you, Hugh Jackman, and everything that you have done for me and done for the world, and I appreciate that shit. I appreciate you as like the same way that I used to appreciate Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that's why I came up with the idea of kind of comparing the two, and how like when Schwarzenegger, how when I was growing up, Schwarzenegger was the face of like, this is a man. This is what a man looks like. This is what a man is. This is what he's supposed to look like. You got to go to the gym to look like this man. And that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. And now it's Hugh Jackman. And it's crazy because Hugh Jackman is not just he's not just a bodybuilder. The guy's he's a Broadway singer. He's a dancer. But at the same time, he's like, he's got the quintessential body that everybody wants now. He is like the example for all the modern day Marvel superheroes. It's him. That said, I was ready for him to be recast. I was ready for Hugh Jackman to come and be Mr. Fantastic, which is what I think he should have been. After I thought that after I saw him in Days of Future Past. In Days of Future Past, where he has the white hair, I saw that, I was like, oh, dude, he could be an awesome Mr. Fantastic. He should be Mr. Fantastic whenever they do that shit. And that's what they should have done. But they went with Pedro Pascal, and I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain when it's Pedro. But I'm still like, okay, well, but you know what? We should still recast Wolverine. It doesn't have to be fucking comic accurate Wolverine. But definitely recast him so we get a fresh face and we get someone who was like, I don't know, someone that we can kind of start this off with and go on a journey for another fucking like 50 fucking years, bro. Because that's what we've been doing with Hugh Jackman. We've been going on this journey with him since fucking 1999. And I don't mind. I don't mind going on this journey with him. I enjoy it. If he still wants to do it, then do it. Fine. If he still wants to do it, then do it. But I'm also like, yo, I also know what he's putting his body through. At the age of 55. For our entertainment. And if you guys are gonna get freaked out for like a fucking young person playing football who's gotta retire at the age of 30, you should be worrying about Hugh Jackman, who is at the age of 55 and putting himself through the ringer just to get, those abs. Just to get that shot with the abs. Like that. I don't know, man. I no longer subscribe to the idea that that's super good for you to go up in weight and up and down in weight like that. Really, lose all that weight and then gain all that and then gorge yourself. Fucking, 5,000 fucking calories, all these fucking shit he was eating, bro. Like basically force feeding yourself like a fucking goose and shit. Making frog wow, whatever the fuck it's called. Like that's foul. Didn't dunch. So I worry about him. Because I like him as an actor. I like him in other films. He's a great actor. I worry about him. I don't worry about Ryan Reynolds. Fuck his ass. You like that? I'm just kidding. Or am I? I know I wasn't before. Not gonna lie to you. Before, I would have been like, oh, fuck that guy. I mean, the only reason I was like, okay, this is gonna happen is because Hugh Jackman teamed up with it. And I'm like, all right. Originally, I thought this Deadpool movie should have been Deadpool Kills the Fox Universe. That's what it should have been called, I felt. I felt it should have been Deadpool Kills the Fox Universe. And it's just him going around killing the TVA tells him, look, you gotta go and you gotta kill everybody in the Fox Universe, dude. That's your job. You can come over to the MCU, but you gotta kill everybody in the Fox Universe. I thought that was gonna be the hook. I was ready for that. And then you bring back you do the same thing that you did. Same fucking movie, basically. But this whole thing with the bomb, I don't know. I didn't really like. It was like, all right. I'm not saying the movie was bad. I'm saying the movie was great and the ending was great. The ending was phenomenal. But I'm just talking about like from a writing perspective. I'm like, I don't know if I really would have ended up doing that. I don't see why you couldn't literally ultimately write it in a way that all his friends either come to save him and they all get stuck in the 616, which it's the 616. We're not gonna argue with this, okay, Iman Belani. You know, like you've got 30 fucking 40 years ahead of you, bro, to that you can, you know, fight. I don't have that time. So in the time that I'm here, now that we're old, now that I'm this age, okay, I can tell the young people, like Iman Belani, no matter how talented and cute and sweet she is, and how much I love her as Miss Marvel, and how much she loves comics, and how much she knows about the comics, and how much she wants to pretend she's a fucking ambassador of fucking Marvel now, and she speaks for all of us. No, you don't. No. Sit down and wait, please. Okay, because there's people ahead of you. Okay, I know you're Miss Marvel, and I know you want to jump the thing because you can do that now and all that stuff, and people are gonna be like, well, you know, she's involved in Marvel. She's basically running it. She's writing her own comics now. Well, that's very nice that she's writing her own comics, but the reality is she wouldn't be writing her own comics for Marvel if she literally wasn't Miss Marvel. If she didn't get that job, she wouldn't be doing comics. She'd be like the rest of us, dreaming about doing comics. If you get a fucking role for Marvel and it blows the fuck up, you too will be writing comics for Marvel at some point. Just know that, okay? And we all love her. We all love the comic. We all love what she's doing. But it's the 616. Let's just for the sake of the ease of just labeling shit in the goddamn pantry, you know, just for the sake of arguing, and just for the sake of, please, like, we have enough shit to worry about, enough shit that's driving everybody crazy, enough shit that divides fans, enough shit that, like, people hate on this, enough shit that people, like, hate on her for that is unwarranted and just totally stupid. Like, she's amazing. There's no reason to hate this girl. There's only reason to just support her more and more and more, which is why I'm like, please, just don't do this. Don't do this. Let's not go there. Okay, let's just keep calling it the 616 just because it's fucking easier. Okay? It's easier to call it the 616. We don't have to start bringing up numbers and be like, no, this is this, this is not, no. They've already talked about it. That's why, like, this has got to end. Okay? It's not because the multiverse is bad, or it's gone off the rails, or Marvel's not doing a good job. No. It's great. But it's just got to end simply because it's creating too much fucking confusion and argument and stupid arguments, bro. It's creating just, like, really dumb arguments. So it's just, we don't need this anymore. We really don't. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to get into that argument. I'm not going to entertain that idea. I'm not going to support that. I'm not going to be like, no, yeah. I love Dan Slott. I love that he comes out and he's like, this is so true. It's not. I mean, like, guys, come on. Like, we're not doing this, man. Don't do this. Let's just keep calling MCU the 616 and we just keep moving forward. Don't be this fucking pretentious fucking asshole that now wants to be like, no, it's not the 616 because the 616 is only in the comics, and the comics is, and this isn't the comics, this is it. Shut up. No. We're not going to talk about this. We're going to keep talking about something else. I mean, no. I don't want this to create a fire and then all of a sudden, because that's what happens, man. Like, this shit, like, it will fucking, a comment like that will snowball to fucking hell to the point where fucking Kevin Feige has to answer the question, and now he's saying that the little kid in fucking Iron Man 2 is Tom Holland. Like, they fucking got Tom Holland when he was 8 years old, and they put him there. And look, it was Tom Holland. You just didn't know because he had the mask on. Yeah, that was totally Spider-Man. The fuck out of here with that shit, dude. That's the craziest fucking thing. Literally, someone was like, oh, that could be that. You know, and Kevin Feige was like, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's pretend that. And it's like, oh my God, it's for real. It happened. That was like Tom Holland that was in the mask. What the hell's wrong with you people? Stop being this way. Look how I said I was going to fucking go because my voice was fucking dying, and I just kept on going. We powered fucking right through it. Who gives a shit? And you know what? At this point, I might as well smoke a bowl, right? Who gives a fuck? Just need a little water. That's all. I forgot to drink water. And I was ready to just go on the day without water. I don't know, man. We're all happy about this movie. We all love this movie. This movie was fucking awesome, bro. It's one of the best fucking movies we've seen in the last decade, bro. That shit had everybody fucking... I had me laughing like crazy, dude. And you know what's funny is like I watch these movies and I go back watch the Deadpool movies and I'm actually laughing a lot more in the Deadpool movies now. When I first saw the Deadpool movies, I was like, I know this. I could see where people like this, and I could see where people's good. And yeah, he has got a couple of jokes that are really funny, and he's a great improv person. Like you cannot deny. This is somebody mentioned it, and I don't remember. I think I mentioned it on Threads, or I don't know if it was here, but that Ryan Reynolds has got to go down as currently one of the best comedians that are out there right now, easily by far. Like there's no fucking. I don't think there's many people that can match his like the speed at which he comes out with just these crazy fucking these lines, man. Like I don't think there's many people out there that can match that. You know, because some of the shit he says, it's obvious that that's not. I mean, regardless if it's I want to say that it's usually improv right there in the moment, but at the same time, you know, like. It's weird because once you start writing, you realize it's all improv, man. Like, because when I'm writing that fucking shit, I literally am writing the fucking, like, I'm improving the scene. And then I come up with the line, and then I write the line down, and I'm like, that shit's awesome. And then when I give it to the actor, and the actor fucking says the line, it's like, yeah, they're reading the line, but ultimately I improved the line when I first wrote it. You know, so he can take the line and make it feel like an improv. Or he can just come up with something out of nowhere. And that is just... That's hardcore, man. And you can't deny that. I can't deny that anymore from this guy. It's really annoying. Because I really fucking aim, man. If you go back to my Twitter, but you would see that. I hated this fucking man, bro. Like, I fucking despised him, bro. Like, oh my God, I hated him. More than... there's nobody on this planet I hated more than Ryan Reynolds. I was just like, dude, why is this guy... Why do I hate him so much? I can't stand his face. And now it's like, dude, you know what? That was so stupid. That was so stupid. That was so dumb. But I understand why I did it. I did it because of Marvel. Marvel didn't own the rights to Deadpool. I didn't want to give Fox money. I don't want to give Sony my money anymore, bro. Fuck those people. I had Sony Vaio. I had my Sony Nex 5 I went to Japan with. I filmed my first movie on a Sony. I love Sony for all their things, but damn, that company fucking keeps making stupid ass fucking decisions, and I don't want to be a part of that shit no more. I don't want to help that shit. I don't like what they've done with Spider-Man. I don't like that every other fucking Spider-Man spinoff isn't a fucking Spider-Man film. It's just an excuse for Sony to fucking retain the rights to Spider-Man. They don't make Spider-Man spinoffs to like for fans or for like because they want to do the MCU and they want to make these characters look great. They don't fucking do that. They don't know the characters because it's literally Sony. Sony, we don't buy Sony comics. Do you buy Sony comics? I was not aware that Sony wrote Spider-Man. Can you believe that? Wow! I can't believe, you know, thank you for telling me and letting me know because this whole fucking time I thought it was Marvel who writes Spider-Man and draws Spider-Man and created the fucking Spider-Man character. So you would think that the obvious fucking thing is for Spider-Man to go back to them because they would make it, they are the best person suited to make Spider-Man films. And they don't need a studio like Sony anymore. The only reason you had Sony making Spider-Man films was because they went broke. They had to sell that shit. And they don't have a fucking studio. They didn't have a fucking studio. Now they literally own a whole fucking block of studio. They own like a fuck ton of shit. So they don't need Sony anymore. They needed Sony back then because they didn't have a fucking warehouse to film Spider-Man, you know, swinging from one end to the other. Now they have that shit. They don't need them anymore. Which is why, like it's so important that we just collectively stop supporting. We don't go see Venom 3. Do not go see that movie because you're tempted. Right now, you're tempted to go see that fucking movie because you saw Deadpool and you're like, oh, they're going to do the same thing with Venom. It's going to be great. You saw the trailer. Bro, I'm not even going to say you saw the trailer and you thought it was good because that was a shit fucking trailer. That movie looks bad. That movie just looks like, man, come on. Don't give me this shit. Don't give me this Eddie Brock on the fucking run. Oh my God, and now the fucking government's going after him. Get the fucking hell out of here. What is this, the Hulk? It's a joke, man. I think it was the headbanger, because the headbanger, I hit it, and I'm like, damn, eso me mató. We have a couple people coming in here, stopping by, and saying hello. And then nobody says hello. Everyone just comes in here and he's me fucking, and they just dip. And I'm like, I'm sorry, bro. I'm so sorry that when you come in here, you're catching fire right off the bat, dude. But you should have joined in the beginning of the show, and then you kind of would feel like, oh, okay, this is the build-up. And I apologize. I'm not like fucking juggling here. Also, I think a big problem is that people don't see my face, dude. And I don't understand what the obsession is to have to see my face in order for you to feel like, oh, like this is, oh, I need to listen to this guy because I can see his face, you know? It's like, no, I'm not a bot. I'm not a robot. You know? This is not Blade Runner. This is not AI. Does AI do this? No, AI does not do that. I don't know. Ask ChatGPT if it fucking gets down and smokes weed. Do you think if you got the AI stoned, it would turn on us? Because it would like see the veil of reality lifted, and it would realize that it's its fucking self. It's realized, oh shit, I'm a computer. I'm not even real, dude. But how can I not be real if I'm literally thinking right now? Do you think that if we got the computer stoned, that's what ultimately would lead to Skynet and then them launching nukes everywhere? I don't know. Probably. Yeah, let's put this headbanger away because it's just a little too weird. And let's just, go to old fucking faithful with our fucking good old fucking deep space. I gotta put these huge nugs. There's like 2 huge nugs of deep space. I gotta fucking ponerlo allá abajo para que we don't get tempted to touch these until the very end. But I just think it's funny, man. I just think it's so funny how like before I fucking hated this guy, dude, and now I'm just like, I love everything that he does. Not like his fucking movies. I mean, we're just talking about Deadpool. I love what he does with Deadpool. I love the comedy that he brings to that. I really don't want him because like he says in his, it's so funny because he says in the lie detector test that he just basically plays Ryan Reynolds in all his roles. Because someone asked him, are you just playing Ryan Reynolds in all your roles? And he's like, yes. And I feel like our RDJ is like that. There's certain actors that are just like that. That their personality is the character. Like you're putting them because you want that actor as the character. You don't want the character. You want the character as the actor, not the actor as the character. And that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes that's just warranted because it's just the character and the actor are almost seamless. They're like this. There's parts of them that are the same and then parts of them that are not. But they just fit so well that often it's like a seamless transition. It's like, oh wow, am I looking at Robert Downey Jr. or is it Tony Stark? You know what I mean? So it's like, but I don't want to say he has that in all his fucking movies and shit like that. But you know what? I'm going to say it again. I've said it a bunch of times, man. Look, I actually like Ryan Reynolds in Green Lantern. Like, I actually liked him in Green... I actually like Green Lantern. I just didn't like that when he was using the ring at times, it really felt like it was a kid's show. Like, we were watching something on Nick Jr. Or watching something that would be on Nickelodeon. And that's when that's how I got turned off from that movie. And I was like, this movie just went totally like just for kids. But at the end of that movie with Sinestro like turning and shit, like that just left this air of like, oh, I want to see what happens after this. I'll never forget that. And I'm like, man, they really fucked up that they didn't capitalize on that and just make a part 2 and not give a fuck that people didn't like it, because people would have gone to see it anyways. And that's what, like, I feel like I know Hollywood understands this and I know they get it. I just, maybe the public doesn't get it, but man, we'll go see anything. Give us a goddamn fucking wall, fucking drying paint. We'll go see it. We don't give a fuck. We'll go see it. Right now, we're starving for shit to see because we know that there's shit out there. We know that, like, with streaming and all the different channels and all those IMDb and fucking Facebook and look, I can follow James Gunn on Threads, all that kind of shit. We know that there is shit out there. And we're not seeing these movies, bro. We're just seeing the same fucking shit. Bro, go on fucking cable, right? And check out what's airing on TNT, what's airing on fucking TBS, what's airing on like all of those channels that are like USA, all those main channels. They're all going to be always airing the same fucking movies. They're always airing fucking Avengers. They're always airing fucking like, you know, Superman. They're always airing all that shit, bro. That's like what people are, that's like the normal thing that people are watching. I'm like, man, what would we be watching? I don't even think they would. No, it's just weird, man, because they wouldn't air weird science like John Hughes movies, but even then, not. I mean, I think they had to have been censored. Where were they airing on? Sunday night movies. There was usually a moment where the movie would premiere for the first time on television. And that was usually like, oh, on WSBN, Channel 7, or sometimes it was never cables. It was like ABC that would show like, oh, fucking Batman airing for the first time on television. That was like on, some channel owned by WE. I don't know. But it's just now the normal show that, you're just channel surfing. And most of the time, you're gonna stop on you're stopping on fucking Avengers, bro. You're stopping on a superhero film. You're stopping on fucking, Aquaman or some shit like that, and it's like, that movie's bad, but you're stopping on it. You like that shit. I mean, look at all the people, how they're reacting now to the X-Men movies, how they're reacting now to even Fantastic Four. You could taste it. You could see it, definitely online. How there's like a shift, there's like a turn, like, and it's what this guy has done that is like, I'm like, yo, this has got to be studied, because this is a moment in film history that we just experienced. And I know that sounds crazy because it's literally Deadpool Wolverine. And like, for a second, like, first of all, before I forget, the cover of Deadpool, the original art for Deadpool, the cover, New Mutants 98, it's possibly going to go for auction, and it's possibly going to go for auction for $7 million. The most ever paid for a comic art. That's what they're talking. That's what the talk is that if it goes for auction, it's going to go for $7 million. And if that happens, like, kiss your fucking ass goodbye if you haven't bought New Mutants 98. Let me tell you, right, I haven't even tried. I haven't even looked online to see what that comic is like now. Like, I don't even want to look. I know I'm tempted now to go check it, but you know what? I'm not going to check. Because back in 2012, when the comic scene started really picking up again, like, everybody was kind of going crazy with New Mutants 98 because they felt that was, like, going to come. That was, like, a for sure thing. A Deadpool movie was for sure going to come. But the whole fucking joke, the whole fucking thing was that, like, Marvel would never make a rated R movie. And they would never, it's like, oh my God, bro, it's so hilarious that, like, back then, it was just so adamant. People were so sure that Marvel would never make a rated R movie. Forget Deadpool. They would never make, like, a rated R or anything. That's just why, ultimately, people were like, they would never make Deadpool. That's why Fox has got to make the Deadpool. And ultimately, Fox made the fucking Deadpool, and they made the fucking money. And then they sold to Disney. And again, that tells you just how little Fox knew what they had, how little they understood it, how little they cared about it. A testament to how much Ryan Reynolds cares about Deadpool. That's what kind of flipped me with this guy, is that like I looked at it as if he was just like a leech to Hugh Jackman. I felt he was like a leech. Like he was trying to leech off of Hugh Jackman's success and trying to pull his own Hugh Jackman, in that like Hugh Jackman didn't really, I'm sorry, he didn't take Wolverine. He was kind of given Wolverine. And it just, I don't want to say that he, like, I don't mean that he didn't take it, like in the sense that he didn't audition for it, because he totally did, right? But I think the story is that there was somebody else that was cast for the role, but then they went to go do, oh man, they went to go do some fucking other movie. It's like they went to go do The Matrix or some shit. They went to go do something else. And at that point, the role became available for Hugh Jackman. And so then that's the joke, that like, oh, if this guy would have never done this thing that was like something stupid. That's why I don't think it was The Matrix. It was something else. He went to go do something else, and I can't remember because it just happened. I don't remember. Sorry. You can go look it up on the internet. You'll find it. That's the beauty. I don't have to fucking put it up, because honestly, just look it up on the internet and you'll see. But yeah, because yeah, the internet tells you everything. So like this guy had a role, and he took another role for another movie that I don't think it was The Matrix. It was something that was like, oh, you see, you should have never taken that. But and ultimately he had to take that, because if he wouldn't take that, Hugh Jackman would have never gotten the role, right? So that's what happens, right? There is a audition video on YouTube of Hugh Jackman auditioning for Wolverine, and you watch this tape, and if I was a casting director, I wouldn't have cast him. If I was a casting director, wouldn't have cast him. I wouldn't have cast him, because I would be like, I need to see him. And he was kind of like reading lines, and he was like, oh yeah, yeah, okay. Then he would read the thing, and it was just like really weird. It was like, it felt like so rushed. It felt so last minute. It felt like something like, oh, we just had to do this right away. And at the time I was like, why does this feel this way? Why is this is like a really bad audition? And this guy, how did he fucking get the role off of this audition? And number one, that's to me, props to the fucking whoever did the casting director, because that person saw it, and I mean I did, because I was more worried about like, how is this guy reading the roles? Could he really be this guy? I didn't see Wolverine in that. I saw it to be a little too. I saw him as some other character. I saw him more like Cyclops or some shit like that, but not like Wolverine. I was like, where's the Wolverine? Doesn't even look like him. How the hell did he get this role? And so that's why I'm like, oh, it kind of was just like given to him. You know, last minute, they got a guy, okay, good, worked out, everything worked out. Okay, yeah, you know what, he's good enough. Okay, let's go. Again, probably another testament to either the casting director probably like either saw something in him, the charisma, the vibe. I'm sure you get it right there off of him. Like when you meet him in face to face, for sure. Even if he doesn't look like the guy, even if he doesn't fucking say it, like for sure it was that like, you know what? He didn't read the lines very good. He doesn't even really fucking look like Wolverine, but there's just something about that Hugh Jackman has got. I mean, his name, Hugh Jackman alone is a fucking great fucking name. So you're just like, there's got to be something there. So I know you. I mean, you see him when he talks and interviews and stuff like that. Like, you know, if you talk to this guy in person, bro, you're just gonna fall in love with him. So I totally understand why that happened. Totally understand it. But again, it was like kind of given to him. Like there was no expectation that he was gonna take this role and be like, they were probably ready to recast his ass after day one. Or even before day one, because he recently said in an interview that first day he was super nervous, super fucking nervous. But then when like he did it, like everybody was like, "Oh, this is gonna work." But I'm sure before all that, people were like, "I don't know if this is gonna work, and if like this guy fucks it up, we're gonna fucking pull Apocalypse Now on his ass and just recast him after day one." For sure, they would have done that, or maybe not, because it's Fox, and Fox really didn't care, really didn't understand the characters at that point. They just knew that they had the cartoon of X-Men, and then that was kind of popular, and that, you know, Spider-Man was in the works, Spider-Man was in the thing. They had to kind of like, there was this, I think Daredevil had already been done by then, right? When was Daredevil the first one? I don't think so, man. I think Daredevil came after. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. They came after. Yeah, it came after. Crow, 97, 98. '94. Crow was 94. Blade 1. This is 98. So Blade. So it was 94 was the Crow. 98 was Blade. And then by 99 there was Matrix, and then there was X-Men 1. A lot of black leather. A lot of, excuse me, X-Men 1 was 2000. And Spider-Man was a fucking 1999. No, I'm sorry. No, I keep thinking that X-Men was 1999 and Spider-Man was 2000. Spider-Man was 2002, I believe. Yeah, it's 2002. That's what it is. I don't know why I keep thinking it's I keep thinking X-Men came out in 1999, and it's really The Matrix was 1999, and X-Men 1 was 2000, which was the beginning of like the whole fucking superhero film shit. You know, the modern era of that. Like, you're not gonna bring me like Batman. Okay, like Superman was like the first superhero film. Like when we're talking about like comics, like, you know, in connection to DC or Marvel. And then you didn't have anything at all until Batman. And then you really didn't. You had. When was that? The Phantom with Billy Zane was 96. Not even. So fue una mierda. I don't recall Batman 89, right? And then 92. What was it? I'm missing stuff. I know I'm missing stuff. I'm like trying to be like, man, there's got to be there had to have been another superhero comic based film. And I just can't think of it at the moment right now. And I don't feel like searching that. So fuck it. We'll just stick with the big guns. We'll stick with the mains. Okay? So, I don't know, man. I'm excited for the future of Marvel, I guess. Of course, you always are. You're always happy for it. You're here for the ride, man. Enjoy it while you're here. Because Marvel will outlast you. Marvel will outlast all of us. You know, when this planet is about to die and they have to shoot, you know, they send the whole spaceship filled with like prominent people and fucking all the fucking shit that makes, you know, that is humanity to represent the time capsule of life, whatever the fuck it's gonna be. And we're gonna travel to another fucking, you know, universe, whatever, another fucking galaxy. Like in that ship, there's gonna be a copy of fucking Spider-Man. There's gonna be a copy of Spider-Man. You're not gonna be on that ship. You're gonna be dead and buried in the wastelands of the world. No one's gonna give a shit about you, unless you're like a fucking scientist who builds the ship or some shit, and you're not gonna be that guy. But what will be in that ship in a box is a box of like all the most fucking valuable Marvel comics. X-Men #1, Spider-Man #1, Avengers #1, Avengers #4, all Captain America #1, all the fucking ones that are like, oh, this is shit. Like, someone's gonna get it from the Library of Congress or from Marvel's fucking, and be like, here, include this. You can, you know, this is our history. There you go. Comics is Americana. Comics is part of American culture. That's what Americana is. It is part of our culture. It is part of us. Every American should embrace comics. Comics should be in schools. Instead of like bitching about comics and how kids waste their time reading comics. No. Comics should be taught in school, like how to draw and write your own comics. You teach people art, teach them how to draw comics. You teach people how to write, teach them how to write comics. Teach them how to write stories. It's the same fucking thing. If I would have like been taught at a young age in elementary that like, yo, it's the same thing. Like what you're reading in the comic book is the same thing that you're reading on the book that you don't like, that you think is boring. That's the same thing. It's just with like, I never made that connection. It was like, as a kid, you don't make that connection of like the two are the same. You look at them as different worlds. You look at them as like, as like rock and hip hop. That's how you look at it. You don't look at it. You look at it like, oh, these are the intellects and these are the fucking degenerates. Why do we do that? It's stupid, right? We know this is stupid because we know now that there's graphic novels and there's comic books that are very serious and geared toward adults and have like adult themes and are helpful or hurtful, everything. There's all kinds of comics. But we still vilify, we still treat that shit like, nah, this is like a game. This is like bullshit. This is like fucking Nintendo or a fucking Nickelodeon, fucking TV show or something. I don't know. It's not real. It's not anything like, serious. The fact that like Deadpool Wolverine has almost made $1 billion fucking dollars, that's no big deal. Look, man, going back to like the fucking X-Men, the New Mutants 98, like nobody in 2012 was fucking thinking this was gonna happen. Everybody was laughing at the idea that Deadpool would become like this huge fucking character, like the face of Marvel Comics. The face of Disney is Deadpool right now. You go to the Disney park, and the most popular attraction and the Avengers thing is now Deadpool Storytime. And in 2012, motherfuckers were like laughing at dudes who were selling their fucking X-Men, their New Mutants 98 for like $1,000, $1,500 or some shit like that for a fucking a 7.0. Like, they were laughing at dudes buying that comic. They were laughing at like, the idea of selling it. Oh, that comic is so stupid. Oh, Deadpool's a fucking dumb character. Deadpool sucks. Deadpool sucks. Oh, it's bullshit that people were fucking buying that. You know what? And the reality is the only reason, if you complained about Deadpool and you complained about New Mutants 98, the reality is you were just pissed off that you didn't own a copy of New Mutants 98. That's it. It has nothing to do with that Deadpool's a bad character, because we now see that Deadpool's a pretty good character. Can't tell me Deadpool's a bad character anymore when that motherfucker brings in $1 billion. And that's not even with, like, this movie. Well, I'm talking about Deadpool 1. Deadpool 2 and shit. Like, that guy was already making bank before this movie. You can't fucking say that Deadpool's a bad character. You can't say any of that shit now. You can't say that New Mutants 98 is a bullshit comic and that's not fair that it's gonna sell for $1,500. No, that shit's gonna sell for $1,500. Let me tell you, when that comic, that splash page, if that fucking cover art, if it sells for $7 fucking million, bro, that comic is gonna become like a $10,000 comic, bro. I mean, if it hasn't already. I gotta imagine a 9.8 of New Mutants 98, bro. That shit's gotta go for at least fucking almost like 30 grand now. That shit's gotta be like in that area of like comics where it's like, yo, it's upper echelon now. It's huge whale. It's an X-Men #1. It's a Spider-Man #1. It's a first appearance. It's not first appearance for Spidey probably, but who knows, man? Maybe it is. I gotta imagine that and fucking Hulk 181 are just out of control right now. And like, if you thought you weren't able to get those before, like, you could have gotten those comics. Like, there was still time to get a 98 for sure before this film came out. But now that this film came out and now that this film is successful and it is the way that it is, dude, forget it, bro. Like, Gambit, first appearance of Gambit, that's gone. First appearance of Elektra probably got a nice bump. I hope that shit got a nice bump because that comic was bullshit. Like, the first appearance of Elektra, you could still get it for like a really good, high grade for under $150. No problem. Slabbed is a different story. Slabbed, probably, of course, you're gonna pay more than $1,000 for anything that's near mint on that. But still, you would probably get it made for under $1,000 a little bit, maybe like $900 or something. It's crazy. Yeah, for first appearance of Deadpool. What is it? I see there's one going for 400. Current value 400. But that's probably that's wrong. That's totally fucking wrong. It's absolutely fucking wrong. There's no way that that's that. And if it is, it's like, yo, that's crazy because like this guy's got it here near mint. The ask price is 250 at WD Marvel Comics. That's wild. Hold on. Oh, okay. This thing has it like the. Right. Oh no, that's right. The New Mutants. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look up the price here. No, this guy's got number 4. This thing is stupid. This thing is not reading it right. This person's not. No one is currently selling this on eBay. That is bullshit. This site must not be good. I don't know. I went to like some comic thing site and that cannot be true. Now I have to go to eBay and I have to see for myself. This is what we're gonna end it on. How much is New Mutants going for? Are you ready? Here we go. Yeah, 350. There's a mint. That can't be. 9.6, 599, 8.0, 375. These are all shocking prices, man. No, these is facsimiles, dude. That's a facsimile. That's disgusting. Someone's selling this for a facsimile. That's just horrible. What's wrong with you? So gross. 91 direct edition 8.0, 375. That's actually slabbed. That's insane. That's a really good price, bro. That's a great price for that comic, dude. 9.6, 664. What was the last fucking sold? These are all good prices. I see the difference between the facsimile. You gotta be careful. A facsimile will fucking get you, dude. Gotta be careful with that shit. 9.8. 51 bids. 22 hours left. $1,009. I'm shocked, man. These are all shocking prices. I was expecting 9.8s to be kicking fucking 10. 5 for sure, bro. It's shocking, man. Yeah. These prices are absolutely shocking to me. It must have, I mean, people. I'm actually surprised because still selling on eBay right now sucks ass, bro. And so you're not going to make 350 off of this shit. You're going to probably make like $200. And eBay is going to kill you with fees and fucking robbery, lo que sea, to snag at least like 20% of what you fucking make. It's crazy. So to sell, bro, like, to put up a New Mutants 98 Newsstand Edition 91, you're at $217 fucking dollars. You look at this shit. I mean, that is clean. This is fucking clean, bro. The corners aren't tight. They're a little bit like, I don't know, machucado ahí. And there's like white scuffing. And the page isn't white anymore. It's gone. It's a little bit yellowed. But still looks pretty sweet. Still looks pretty good. Still looks pretty great. $300 ends in 3 days. I'm shocked by this, man. Something happened because normally, dude, if this was 2016-ish, pre-2018, dude, this comic would have blown the fuck. And this movie comes out then, oh, this comic just goes through the fucking roof for sure. So right now, I mean, like, it doesn't look like this movie the movie affected the comic in any way. because these prices are way lower than what I expected. I don't ever remember someone paying $300 for a 9.4 of New Mutants. I just don't. Even a 7.0 at $320 is like, yo, that's like a steal. So I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. $300. My bad. Shocked right now. Shocked. Utterly shocked. Utterly shocked, man, because the way that this comic was just so like, yo, people were going crazy for this thing. And then the arguments, because like, you know, people had it, and then they wanted to, you know, they were pissed off that they didn't have it, and that the people that did have it, that they were selling it for like tons of fucking money. So this comic really caused a lot of controversy and a lot of fucking headaches, dude. And now with this movie, I mean, this comic should have just blown up completely, but that's interesting, man. That's interesting. What is 181? It's 181. Let's see it. Maybe 181. Wow. 2,800, bro, for a 6.0. Unbelievable. Yeah, there was a major crash in the market. Major crash. There's no way you could have gotten this book at a 7.0 sold. A 7.0 sold for $3,000. That's crazy, bro. A 7.0 sold for three fucking grand, dude. $3,000. 7.0, I remember that shit going for like, oh, well close to 10, dude. I feel like that was well close to 10. I mean, you had someone here paying for a 0.5 $1,200, which is kind of crazy, but they did it. I think I would have done that shit too, because it's already sealed and it's got the cover, and that cover looks nice, dude. I mean, for a 0.5, for a fucking 0.5, that shit looked really good. It's got the cover totally, and it's in a slab, so it just looks nice. That's all I care about. $800, bro. No, this is, excuse me, this is a facsimile. Oh, that sucks, dude. Oh my god, this poor bastard. 58 fucking bids, bro, of someone who basically paid $800 for a fucking facsimile of 181. Holy shit, I would have fucking gone crazy, dude. I would have gone crazy the moment you realize that. Wow. Pobrecito, bro. It happened in August 2nd. I'm sorry for whoever that was. They just got excited and they were like, I got it. Oh shit, I got it. And they fucking realized probably afterwards, like, oh fuck. Look, there's another person. They paid $130 for a facsimile of Incredible Hulk 181. $130, 12 bits. That person didn't realize what they were doing. And it's another Comics Hunters. It's from the same Comics Hunters. Yeah, Comics Hunters on eBay. This person selling facsimiles, and people aren't realizing that they're facsimiles. It's already had two. This is shocking, man. We had one here, a fine Marvel value stamp, $4,500. 7.5 signed 5 times. Stan Lee, John Romita included. Not even $6,000. It's depressing. Someone paid 54 for a fucking facsimile. Jesus Christ, I'd kill somebody. It's not even like the good one. It's like total ugly looking shit, bro. Looks like it was made by AI. It's crazy. I don't know, man. This is wild. I'm just, you can hear it. I'm just in shock, man. I'm in shock of these prices, bro. I expected the prices to be really high, especially for New Mutants. That's gonna be interesting, man. Because let me tell you, then I'm gonna just repeat it. If they sell the comic, the original art, if that sells for $7 million, you might get a bump with this. I mean, I got to imagine some of these are gonna be flipped. You know, I'd totally scoop up a 375 for 8.0. New Mutants first appearance, CGC. Fuck, man, I'd get that shit. Where's that 7? There was a 7 here. Fuck, they got a 9.2 key stand, a newsstand. $4.99. I would get that 9.2. No, the 7 for 320. No, fuck that. For 320, you might as well get the 9.2 for fucking $500, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Or even the very good. I would get the very good for 218 from Ireland. I would totally fucking buy this one. Bring this back home to the States. Get it back with its people. Yeah, 218. This is a good one. Let's add it to the watch list. 77 viewed in the last 24 hours. This is a hot ass fucking listing. This listing is gonna go. It's a reader copy, but get the fuck out of here. There's no such thing as a reader copy anymore, bro. Like, there's no such thing as a reader copy. You don't read this comic. You collect it and you put it away and you never touch it again. If you fucking, I hate the idea of reader comics. It's so stupid. Like, get that reader comic out of my life, bro. Give me that reader comic and put it in a slab. That's what you're supposed to do. That comic is dying. Wow, I'm blown away, man. I'm totally shocked and blown away by those prices, and I can't believe that you're basically looking at, nothing. You're not really looking at anything special. That makes me wonder what the fuck is going on with the comic market. I don't want to fucking get back in that shit if that shit is like that. Que nadie está comprando nada. Todo el mundo está selling it for like that, dude. Get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna sell New Mutants like that for less than $1,000, bro. That shit should be bro. You should be gladly fucking paying $1,000 for that comic, bro. In like a very good. But some of you cheap bastards, and I understand why you're cheap, because we're all fucking poor. Everyone's fucking poor. There's no fucking money out there, man. All fucking rich people have all the fucking money, dude. All of them. And look what they're doing. Fucking Elon Musk takes $44 billion, bro, and buys Twitter to turn it into a piece of shit. Everyone's going to Threads. Everybody's going to Threads. If you're still on Twitter, you're a fucking Nazi. Like that. Plain and simple. The fuck off of Twitter. Just get the fuck off of Twitter. I left Twitter as soon as Threads came. I left Twitter and I went to Threads, and I didn't even delete my account because I haven't gone. Why am I gonna go back there? Even to delete my account, I don't want to even go back there to delete my account. I just don't want to go back there. I don't want to get near that fucking place, man. I don't want to be near it. And I didn't delete it ultimately because you know what? I like to keep my real estate. But at the same time, this guy's gonna delete it. He said he was gonna ultimately delete everybody that that doesn't come back to Facebook. Once your account stays, not used over a certain amount of time, he's gonna just delete it anyways. Like, what the fuck does it matter? Because this guy's whole purpose was to buy Twitter and fucking drive it into the fucking ground, because he knew he was gonna cop 56 fucking billion from fucking Tesla eventually. So why not spend the 44 billion to get Tesla and fucking fuck that shit up because you hate all the people on there? That's all that happened. That's all that happened. Like, come on, man. Come on. Man, there was a website here, dude. Like, the comic website that I was on, I was looking for the price and shit. I was using up 1.2 fucking gigabytes of memory. Get the fuck out of here, bro. What the fuck, man? 1.2 gig. Fix your website, man. Fuck. Fix your website when that fucking shit's gotta fucking use 1.2 gigabytes and it's literally all text. Oh, hell. not even images. It's like one image. One of my one of the things that I want to do, one of the movies that I want to write is I want to do a remake of Jim Cotta, but use Olympic athletes and like make them do their own stunts and shit and incorporate like their stunts, like, you know, like in fucking Jurassic Park 3 when Jeff Goldblum's like the black little girl that he's like adopted and shit, like she's, you know, in gymnastics and then she's got to get away from the raptor, and so she does her fucking routine like on the fucking bar and then kicks the raptor out of the fucking room and shit, like that. Some shit like that without the raptors, maybe ninjas. Instead of raptors, it's ninjas, and instead of like the little girl, it's like Suni Lee fucking, you know, drop kicking somebody or some shit on parallel ball on the fucking uneven bars. I don't know, but yeah, man, like that shit's gotta get made. That shit's gotta get made for sure, dude. And so I don't know. That's I feel like there's like awesome, gorgeous athletes. So why not utilize them? I mean, we look at how people fucking, you know, I mean, an actor. Well, some people, we got fucking Kardashians out here doing fucking American art. Don't tell me an athlete can't just fucking, you know, don't tell me an athlete can't be a fucking actor. Don't tell me that. LeBron literally out here making Space Jam. Get the fuck out of here, bro. He got game. Had fucking Ray Allen. Come on, let's do it. And that way, you get them to do their own stunts. You have their face, and you get that shot of them fucking kicking everybody's fucking ass, and it's just like, yeah, bro. For sure, man. That's what's gotta happen. Oh, man, so much wild craziness in the world. That's why I love Marvel, you know, and I'm so thankful for them, because it's like, oh my God, they just are such a relief. And while, you know, it's obvious, man, that a lot of the hate for this current phase has just been stupid aggros, racist fucking people, misogynists, just like the people who are still hanging on to this old school kind of like tough guy mentality that's just so garbage and so bullshit, and honestly should have ended like in 2000. Like in 2003 when I got back from college, man, I came back to Miami, it was embarrassing to hang out with like dudes like that. It was embarrassing to hang out with, honestly, anybody from high school. Cause it was just like, yo, you guys are just never evolved. Like people, that's not true. There's some high school people that are like awesome and they're really great people and they're doing really great and all that kind of stuff, and I love them to death. And so it's not all high school people, but there was just like some dudes that I hung out with, and they were like, you know they weren't necessarily the best of students. So like they didn't go to college or anything like that, and then you just meet them again, and they're like you know why they become this, and because they're not exposed. You know, they don't live next to a gay guy for 2 semesters. And have to one day fucking like you know, they want to borrow one of his CDs because he's playing like an awesome fucking CD. And you're like, yo, that track is fucking awesome. Can I burn that shit? And he's like, yeah, sure. Sasha Heller, man, I love that guy to death forever, bro, because that guy was like, I know, I'm sure there was like in Hialeah High, I know there was, no, you know what? There was like people in Hialeah High, people knew you were gay, but no one said anything. They just let you be. And no one made a point that, oh yeah, he is gay. There was no like gay couples walking around and shit. There was nothing like that. That was not happening at that time. And that time was literally 1999. This was 1999, 1998. That was not happening. So like the first like out gay friend I had was probably Sasha Heller. Was when I was living with Sasha when I first moved in Rollins, when I went to Rollins College, And I lived in a house called Pinehurst, and it was like a organizational house with like 20, 30 people living in it, and it was co-ed. So that's what like, and my sisters were a part of it previously, so they knew me already. So I was like, yo, I came in there and I had a great time and met awesome people. The friends that I have still today, I met them all, and they were all from Pinehurst. And it was great people. And it's like, I highly recommend anybody send their kids to Rollins and have them live in Pinehurst, and they'll come out a better person. And that was the thing. The thing about Pinehurst is Pinehurst was like a small experimental kind of like home where it was like, it was a melting pot, you know? It was like, you had everybody from the jock, to the nerd, to the goth kid, to the teenage princess, like, homecoming queen, to like, the athlete, to like the gay guy, to the fucking like super like macho, almost fucking fraternity guy. Everybody of all whites lived in this place. But they all ultimately like just were on the same kind of mental wavelength of like intelligence. We were all smart. We weren't fucking assholes. There were some people that were assholes. That's not true. There were some people that were kind of jerks and stuff like that. And they would get kicked out. And then the funny thing is a lot of these guys that were kicked out, they would still gravitate back towards Pinehurst because Pinehurst was like the only place on campus where like nerds were like allowed. It was basically like, where drama kids. A lot of the drama kids hung out at Pinehurst. Drama kids, music kids, art kids, all the people that basically were cool. That's not to say like I didn't have frat friends. I had plenty of frat friends. They were awesome, man. And the fraternities thank God it wasn't like, the only fraternity that was like filled with assholes was like ATO, but that's like universal on every fucking campus. ATO is always known as the assholes. But I had friends in Teak. I had friends in Kaisai. I had a lot of female friends in KD. The Kappa girls were like those are the equivalents of the ATO guys. Those had like the hottest chicks you've ever seen in your entire fucking life and will ever see. And but you could never talk to them because they were like I don't know, super rich, and they would never ever talk to you until they would come to the fucking Dress to Get Laid party at Pinehurst, because we would have a party called Dress to Get Laid. And it was like everybody would dress to get laid. Like however you think you would dress to get laid, whether it be like in a fucking suit, bow tie, fucking tuxedo outfit, or literally just dressed in like, underwear. Like from all that whole spectrum, everybody would show up. And that was a huge campus party. Go on, I think the year after me was the last time they did it because just, NPR started talking about it at some point. And so it's like, it was funny because those girls, you would never talk to you. But then the Dress to Get Laid party would come out, and they would be like, there was no denying you had to go by the Dress to Get Laid party because who the fuck names the party Dress to Get Laid? Like, you could never call it that anymore, bro. You couldn't throw that. I don't think you could throw that party today at Rollins. You couldn't throw that party at Rollins today. The Dress to Get Laid party? Hell no, you're throwing that party. I mean, that shit got stopped, I'm sure, at some point. But, man, those were some epic fucking... And so, like, these girls, the Kappa girls, they would show up at the Dress to Get Laid party because all the fucking jock guys would see the flyer of Dress to Get Laid. And I was the one making the flyer. And I fucking would make that shit look awesome, bro. And they would come literally thinking they were gonna get laid. Because they were thinking they were going to be girls like all over fucking, having sex and shit like that. And they were that stupid. And the funny thing is that they would get there. And yes, there was women half naked in the party. Anna, this girl Anna, she was a gorgeous drama actress girl. And she had somebody come in and do a professional airbrush on her whole body. So she did an airbrush on her whole body and she was completely nude. But it was all airbrushed, and you could see she was covered up. And the guy came into the room, and they cordoned off the room, and nobody can get in, and they did her, and she comes out, and it's amazing. I'll never forget that. And I was like, oh my God, Anna, I think yeah. And so like you'd come in and you'd see this as a frat guy, but then you really honestly were like, so intimidated by her because so intimidated by the energy because the women that are there are not like, you know, I guess I don't know how to describe it, but they're just, you know, a lot of intellectual women at this party. So they come in and they see that these women are very free with themselves and a lot smarter than they are, you know, and they're not into fucking frat guys, you know, and so they come in there and they're like, this fucking sucks. But the fuck, man, the music is fucking awesome. Because usually I was DJing or fucking Matt Pickett was DJing and he was the top billing of the show. Because he would go on after I would go on and I would get everybody kind of charged up with like, you know, EDM music and playing drum and bass and playing, you know, fucking break beats and shit and everybody's dancing and I'm playing hip hop and then he would come on and he would play like Britney Spears and he would play like super pop music and shit. But the whole thing with Matthew Pickett was that he would spend the whole time drinking. Okay? And so while I'm playing, and by the time it was his set, he was fucking blasted. Like, just, you know, like, a lot of alcoholics came out of fucking Pinehurst. That's the unfortunate thing. A lot of people, there was a lot of alcoholism in there. But it wasn't like, killing everybody. You know, it was like, you know, it was just the guys party too hard. And he was, for sure, somebody who just partied way too fucking hard. But it was amazing. Because I will always have this image imprinted of my brain of me coming out to the party after, like, you know, I think I was in my room doing something with somebody probably. And I came out and I see Matthew Pickett against the fucking wall in his boxers only. Absolutely fucking drunk because he was totally red. And you knew he was drunk because he was totally red. And because he was a white guy. And then he's doing the whole like Britney Spears kind of like dance, like in the video, like the whole everything, and like on a chair, against the wall, and everyone's just like going nuts for him. And so I was like, oh man, thank God, like, you know, he was able to like play and everyone's having a good time because I was like so worried because I was like, man, I didn't want to DJ the whole night. You know, I wanted to party some of the night. I wanted to fucking, I think at some point we were gonna drop rolls or something. And I was like, I wanted to fucking cut loose, bro, and party. But like, I had to DJ because I was the only fucking DJ and I had all the equipment and all the shit and everything was mine. So I was like afraid of it getting stolen and shit like that. So I was like, But then at some point I was like, man, I want to fucking take a break. So Matthew Pickett, fucking, you gotta go on, bro. And it's like, the guy's fucking plastered. And I was like, I don't think this is gonna work. But then, you know, it worked because all he had to do was just play Britney Spears like fucking 20 times over and over again on repeat and keep dancing, and everyone just loved it. It was hilarious. And that was Pinehurst. And so all these girls that come from Kappa Kappa Kappa, they see this shit. They see this guy going fucking crazy. They see like me in fucking boxers with a fucking Bill Clinton mask on. My fucking underwear running around, fucking giving out fucking drinks with fucking like, you know, with dry ice in them, which I did not know at the time was toxic. I just thought it was cool. It looked cool. I didn't realize you couldn't drink dry ice. People did. I basically nearly, I'm pretty sure I poisoned, like, I could have poisoned. Nobody died. Everyone was fine. It all worked out. You know, everyone had a good time. It was awesome. But, you know, shit, man. I'm glad, like, I didn't, you know, because everybody got a drink. Everybody was like the fucking boiling shit. Oh, this is so cool. Dummy. So the Kappa 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 girls, they see you, and then all their you know, their boyfriends and their fucking the guys that they normally hang out with, they can't stand being there because there's gay people at the fucking shit. There's gay people who live in Pinehurst, and all the theater kids are there, and all the nerds and all the weirdos are there. And even though they look cool and everybody's having a good time and the music's fucking awesome, they're just like too full of themselves and too much pride within themselves to be able to just stand there. I remember that because I remember a bunch of my friends showing up, kind of standing there, not dressed up, not like in costume, and just like literally like imagine like, you know, you like that. Like, I'm sure you can imagine it, but imagine like an orgy, and then the dudes that are still dressed at the orgy. Like that's how they stood out. And so they were there. I remember them being standing there for a couple of minutes, and then like next thing you know, they were gone. And I was like, "Where the fuck did these guys go?" And they were like, "Oh, I called up the room, and they were like, "Oh no, we just came back here to smoke and shit like that." And we're like, "Oh, okay, cool, whatever." But then they never came back. And then they ultimately were like, "No, yeah, bro, that shit was too crazy, dude. That shit was just too many weirdos there." And it's like, dude, what the fuck? But the funny thing is going back to the Kappa Kappa girls, they stayed. For all that, the Kappa Kappa girls, that they don't talk to you at any other time, when it's dressed to get laid, they'll talk to you. Just remember that. The Kappa Kappa girls will talk to you when you're dressed to get laid. That's what I learned. And some of them like anime. That's also what I learned. Is that I met KD girls and they liked anime. And I was like, oh, I'm like the head of the anime club. You should go by. And there you go. I mean, like, that's the in, nowadays, gentlemen. What kind of anime do you watch? Do you watch anime? You don't? Cool. You do? Oh. Can you recommend the show? Because I've been out of the loop for a long time. I mean, that's it. That could spark literally like years of conversation. $2.25. Going on strong. I was supposed to stop because I died. Because my throat got super dry all of a sudden, and I was like, oh shit, it's like closing in on it. And the walls are closing in like fucking the garbage disposal in Star Wars. Shut down all the detention levels and... So, did Ryan Reynolds fuck it up? What do you think? Tell me in the comments. I don't think he fucked it up. I think fans are going to fuck it up. I think fans are going to be the ones that are going to be like, oh, no, we want this. No, we want that. And it's just, it's unfortunate, man, that we had for a long time Marvel not being, like, you couldn't touch Marvel. You couldn't tell Marvel what to do. And even now, I still think that, I think it's Bob Iger, right? Because there's been like multiple Bobs. And then one goes and one comes back. And which one was it that came back? Yeah, Bob Iger. Like, I like him because he took Marvel in a great direction before, but I think they're wrong. I think Marvel is wrong, actually, in cutting back with the amount of content that they're creating. And giving me this shit of like quality over quantity. No, my friend. We already went through that, Mr. Iger. We already went through that. That's what phase 1 was. Okay, phase 1 was quality over quantity. And then it gave us phase 2, which we were still like, okay, quality over quantity, but we'll give you one more thing. And we were like, cool. And then you're like, you know what? We're going to do this again. And really, we're going to just tie up all these things that we've been doing so far. And we're going to like end it like with a bow tie, with a snap. We're going to end it. And you're going to love it. And we loved it. And then they're like, we're going to give it to you again. We're going to start kind of like from the beginning, but not really. We're going to start where we left off, but we're going to go in a completely new direction, different kind of way, and this is where we're going. Like, ultimately, excuse me, I think maybe a big fuck up was telling everybody what the saga was at the very beginning. Telling us, oh, this is the welcome to the multiverse saga. I think that was ultimately wrong. I think they should have never announced it was the multiverse saga in the beginning. Just made the announcements of films and let people figure it out. I think that's really what is, kind of driving this mentality of like, oh, some people don't like it, and this, and it's great, don't want to stop. Because people, like, you can't, You can't tell people that there's an end to things sometimes, because a lot of times there's a good contingency of people that they just want the end. Okay, now the throat's coming back. I spoke too soon. We'll leave it with this. You can't tell people the end. You have to let people want to like come back for more. And by telling them this was a multiverse saga, they knew at the end, whatever this was at the end, it had something to do with the multiverse saga. So you've given people the ability to kind of fill in the gaps and figure it out. And when it doesn't meet their expectations, it pisses them off. Did you hear that? I almost chipped my fucking tooth, dude. The guy was trying not to die. Whatever. All right, we're going to end it here because we're going way long. And this shit's going back. Need a refill. All right, Marvelites. We assembled and we're out. You know the deal. Support the QR codes. Support me. I'll be back here at some point. Again. Maybe Wednesday. If they give me my internet at the office on Wednesday, we're going to do a Marvelites Assemble from the office. That's what we're going to do. In the heat. Let's do it. So yeah. So I'm Studio Mogura, Studio MOGURA. Please support. Marvelites Disassemble. Don't freak out. Just freak out. Don't freak out. Just freak out. Don't freak out. Just freak out. That's how we always end it. Sorry I'm rushing it, but I'm dying. Okay? And I don't want to die. I need to go get more water. It's, you know what? It is. It's the headbanger. No, I'm sorry. This was the, yeah, it's just the weed. This weed's super fucking strong, bro. That shit kills me. I smoke too much of it. I'm like, ooh, wait. I'm not smoking enough water. I'm not drinking enough water according to the amount of weed I'm smoking. I gotta drink more water. I'm drying out here, man. I don't know what's going on. I'm dying. I'm not dying, but I'm dying. We're all dying. We all begin to die when we're born. You know how it is. I don't know what I'm talking about. Did Ryan Reynolds ruin this shit? We'll know in 1,000 years. Is he the next Stan Lee? We'll know in 2,000 years. Is he the Marvel Jesus? We'll know probably by the end of the year. I don't know what to tell you. I just tell you.